Do you want to make more money? Of course you do. Of course you want to make more money. Everybody wants to make more money. And now there's a way you can make more money by just simply deploying. It's that easy. Just deploy and now you can make more money. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, Chris, are we talking about combat pay? Because that's already a thing. And in fact, there isn't any soldiers that are deployed to a combat zone as of right now, right? Right? Anyways, we're not talking about combat deployment. We're not talking about combat pay. We're talking about something brand new that I saw in a memorandum called operational deployment pay, or ODP. Yeah, you know me. Wait, that's something else. That's OPP, right? That's okay. Anyways, ODP, operational deployment pay, is a different thing that they are recently adding that will take effect October 1st of this year. So if you're on an operational deployment, you will be eligible to be able to receive some additional pay in the form of this ODP. So let's break that down a little bit more. What does that mean, obviously? So that means if you're deployed to, let's say, a training deployment, right? Because we have these training deployments where units will go and they'll deploy to, let's say, like Poland. Poland's a pretty common one. We have other locations that soldiers are deploying to. And if you are on one of those qualifying deployments for more than 30 days, then you qualify for this operational deployment pay to be able to receive some extra money based on your rank. So this is going to apply for those units that are going off to those deployments. So if you're going to go on a deployment for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, to, let's say, like Poland and even Korea. I saw some people in the comment section on one of these topics talking about, does Korea count? And people are saying, no, Korea doesn't count. And that's partially right? Korea doesn't count if it's a PCS, as you're being stationed in Korea. But if your unit is deploying to Korea to go do a training cycle in Korea for, 6 months, whatever the case is, then that would count because you're deploying with your unit. You're not being reassigned to Korea to be stationed there. Because if you're being stationed there, then yeah, this doesn't apply for an operational deployment pay. It only would apply if your unit is going to be stationed over there for a training deployment type of thing. But more importantly, right, more commonly, I guess, you have people going to Poland, maybe people going to Germany, maybe people going to Kuwait, right? I don't think Kuwait still classifies as a combat zone type of thing. I don't think you get hazardous duty pay for Kuwait. But nonetheless, right, any other these locations that are outside of your normal duty station, that would kind of qualify for that. I think I even saw somebody mention, well, what about National Training Center? Well, the National Training Center is not really an operational deployment. And even if it was, it still would need to be more than 30 days. And typically you're at the NTC for just at 30 days or just a little bit before 30 days. So that way they don't have to pay family separation pay to those soldiers that are married and everything. So NTC would not fall in that category of an operational deployment. So no, you wouldn't get that operational deployment pay for NTC, JRTC, nothing like that. Now, you might be curious as to how much will I make then? Well, again, as I mentioned earlier, it does depend on your rank, but I do have a copy of that memorandum to kind of take a look at the pay chart and how the breakdown is for individuals based on your pay. So maybe you can get an idea if you're expecting to go off on a deployment sometime soon for one of these operational deployments. Maybe you're currently on one right now, but it doesn't retrograde active thing or whatever, right? If you finished one recently, you don't get retroactively paid for that deployment type of thing. It's only as of being deployed to those locations as of October 1st. So if we're taking a look at this memorandum, here's what the memorandum is talking about. It's talking about this operational deployment pay, or ODP, and it kind of outlines all the stuff, talking about it's effective October 1st, 2024, be payable to soldiers that are deployed away from their permanent duty station PDS in support of approved operational deployments. So again, talking about things like Poland and those kind of deployments, that are operational deployments. But you want to see the pay chart, right? So here's the pay chart, right? E1 through E4, it's going to be the same amount. It's going to be $210. E5 gets a little bit of a bump of $240. E6, $300. E7, $360. E8, $420, and then E9, $450. And then you also have your warrant officers and your officers. So obviously it kind of goes up from there. It looks like O1s are going to be basically getting the same as an E5, but it does kind of go up depending on your rank. It has some criteria, which should be given for some people, right? Talking about if you go AWOL, you're not going to get it during that time frame. If you're hospitalized, and it's absent for more than 30 days, then the soldier will stop receiving ODP. But I figure a lot of people probably understand. Yeah, I go AWOL and I'm a hospital, I'm not in that area, I'm probably going to get that pay. But here's that pay chart if you're kind of curious of, how much money you could potentially be making if you're deployed on one of these operational deployments. That operational deployment pay is also in addition to other allowances you might be getting, if you're getting COLA pay, if you're getting family separation, if you're receiving, BAH, BAS, whatever, that's just on top of it. So potentially making an extra 200 something bucks. I didn't see anywhere in there talking about it being tax free. So I don't know if that's a tax free thing, possibly not. So it may just get added to your base pay and then taxes have to come out. I don't know. I'm not too clear on that. If someone's got better clarification as far as if ODP is taxed or not taxed, I'd love to hear that down in the comment section down below. But what do you think? Do you think that's a nice little incentive, something a little bit nicer, right? The idea is to kind of, help give soldiers a little bit extra money, that are going off these deployments. They're away from home, they're away from friends and family, away from the normal culture of life back in the States or wherever their normal duty station is, and having to constantly be in this training environment, possibly, because a lot of times when they're on these training deployments, it's kind of a lot like being in the field a lot in some cases. Some cases may be a little bit different, maybe not quite as rough as that, and maybe a little bit better. But nonetheless, the key point is you're away from family, you're away from friends, you're away from the normal amenities you would have. So to kind of subsidize that, they're giving you a little bit of extra pay. But do you think it's enough? Do you think it's too little? Maybe they need to pay more? Do you think they need to add other incentives? What do you think would probably be better for that kind of a thing? Or is it cool? It's a good start, right? It's better than what they had, right? Because before they weren't getting that extra pay. You were just going off on these training deployments and just making normal pay. So I think it's still, nice. Obviously, everybody would love to probably make more money. It's obviously an obvious answer a lot of times, but nonetheless, it's still better than what we had before. I'll leave you a link to the Military Times article down in the description box down below. I don't have a good link to like the actual memorandum as of this time. The version I was showing you, I found like on Instagram through, I think it was Army WTF or whatever. And I also think saw somebody sharing a copy of it like on Reddit or something like that, but it wasn't in PDF format. But nonetheless, I'll link the Military Times article that does talk about it inside of that article. And if you want to read a little bit more, then you can. And if you enjoyed this video, well, great. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up. Maybe you share it with a fellow soldier that's getting ready to go on one of these operational deployments. But nonetheless, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm Christopher Chaos, and I'll see you next time. See ya.